For decades, we've been traveling the same way. We treat the world like a checklist. You land, you rush to the famous temple, you take the photo to prove you were there, you grab a quick lunch at a tourist trap, and you move on. This is what researchers call the postcard mentality. It's the idea that destinations are just collections of landmarks to be consumed, rather than communities to be understood. And for a long time, Asian tourism catered exactly to this model. It was all about curated itineraries, luxury bubbles, and rapid departure. But something shifted. Beginning in the early 2020s, a quiet revolution began, driven by the pandemic pause, a climate crisis, and a massive generational shift in values. The way we look at Asia, and how Asia looks at us, is fundamentally changing. We are moving from sightseeing to experiencing, from consuming to connecting. This isn't just a trend, it's a total restructuring of tourism values. Today, we're diving deep into a major research report titled The Quiet Revolutions. We're going to break down the 5 massive shifts changing travel in Asia, from the rise of slow travel and smart cities to the surprising economics of sustainability. So put down the guidebook. We're going off the beaten path. Let's start with the biggest philosophical shift, the death of sightseeing and the birth of experiencing. Now, that might sound like just a buzzword, but the economic difference is huge. Sightseeing is a consumption model. You show up to a temple for 1 hour, maybe buy a keychain, and leave. The money usually goes to big tour bus companies or hotel chains. Compare that to the experiential traveler. At that same temple, they might spend 3 hours. They engage a local guide, maybe participate in a meditation session, or learn about the architecture. The money here flows differently. It goes to local guides, family-run lodgings, and artisans. This shift is being driven largely by millennials and Gen Z, who now make up over 45% of international travelers. They don't want the generic postcard, they want the story. And nowhere is this clearer than in culinary tourism. Food isn't just fuel anymore, it's the main event. Culinary tour operators in Southeast Asia are reporting 40 to 60% growth year over year. We aren't just talking about eating at a nice restaurant. We're talking about visiting markets to source ingredients, taking cooking classes in home settings, and understanding the agricultural history of a dish. The data backs this up. Culinary tourists spend 2 to 3 times more than the average tourist. They stay longer, and their money supports farmers and small family businesses. Then you have the adventure sector. But I'm not talking about mass market ziplining. I'm talking about small groups, 4 to 8 people, doing jungle survival or deep cave exploration. These travelers prioritize environmental knowledge and often contribute fees directly to conservation. The days of the Instagram tourist just showing up for the selfie are fading. We're seeing a desire for what researchers call deep experiential engagement. But we can't talk about modern travel without talking about the elephant in the room, social media. Specifically, TikTok and Instagram Reels. These platforms have become the primary discovery engine for younger travelers. The old way was guidebooks and travel agents. The new way is algorithm-driven recommendations and user-generated content. This is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it democratizes tourism. A small family-run homestay in a remote Vietnamese village can get international bookings just because one creator made a viral video about them. That is incredibly powerful, but it also creates the authenticity paradox. We want untouched experiences, yet we feel the compulsion to document every second of them. Even worse, social media sets aesthetic expectations that reality can't always match. Travelers arrive expecting a filtered paradise and are disappointed by the grit of real life. The most sophisticated destinations are actually leaning into this. They're encouraging behind-the-scenes content, showing the mundane, real aspects of a place, not just the highlight reel. Because if you sell a fantasy, you get disappointed customers. If you sell reality, you get connections. This brings us to the second major revolution, the rise of slow travel and wellness. The grand tour mentality of doing 5 countries in 10 days is burning people out. The counter-movement is slow travel, spending 3 or 4 weeks in a single region. It's about stress reduction and actually learning how people live. Wellness travel is the fastest growing segment in Asian tourism. It grew at a rate of 14% annually between 2019 and 2024. And it's not just massages. It's a shift where travel is viewed as a healthcare intervention. What's fascinating is how Asia is innovating here. They are integrating traditional healing, like Ayurveda, traditional Chinese medicine, and Thai massage, with modern medical standards. It's not seen as a quaint cultural artifact anymore. It's legitimate healthcare. Wellness resorts now employ Ayurvedic doctors alongside modern fitness instructors, creating data-driven health programs. And economically, these travelers are gold. Wellness tourists spend $150 to $500 a day, compared to $75 to $150 for general tourists. They stay longer, spend more, and leave feeling better. It's a win-win. Now, let's pivot from the jungle to the concrete jungle. While some seek silence, others are diving into this smart city experience. Singapore and Tokyo are leading the world in integrating tech into tourism. In Singapore, it's about seamlessness, real-time crowd monitoring, contactless payments everywhere, and AI that suggests itineraries based on the weather. The goal is to reduce the friction of logistics so you can focus on the experience. In Tokyo, it's about accessibility, real-time translation, and AR systems that provide historical context for attractions. But there is a risk here. We call it over-technologization. If you're staring at your screen the whole time, are you really there? The report highlights a danger: filter bubbles. AI recommendations might only show you things you already like, preventing you from stumbling upon something totally new and unexpected. The best implementations use tech to enable human connection, not replace it. Imagine an app that doesn't just give you a map, but connects you with a local artisan for a workshop. That's the balance smart destinations are aiming for. We have to talk about the ugly side of tourism: over-tourism, congestion, environmental degradation, and conflict with locals. We've seen it in crowded temples in Cambodia and Instagram spots in Bali that have been trampled by foot traffic. For a long time, sustainable tourism was just a niche marketing term, but the data shows a massive shift. While it currently makes up less than 10% of the market, it is projected to grow by 1/3 over the next decade just to meet climate goals. But here is the key insight: sustainability isn't just charity, it's better business. Let's look at the Eco-Lodge model in northern Thailand or Indonesia. These places operate at limited capacity, maybe 10 to 30 rooms. They hire local staff and support forest conservation. Because they offer a premium, exclusive experience, they are actually more profitable per room than mass-market hotels, while generating significantly more benefit for the local community. This connects to community-based tourism. This is where the community itself calls the shots. Take the hill tribe regions in northern Thailand. Instead of outside companies bussing people in to stare at them, the communities design the programs. They control visitor numbers. They keep the money. Tourism becomes a supplement to their income, not something that forces them to abandon their traditional way of life. Or look at agricultural tourism in Bali. Farmers offer cooking classes using their own crops. It allows them to sell their produce at premium prices and stay on their land. It creates a virtuous cycle. The traveler gets an authentic connection, the local gets economic dignity, and the environment is protected because the business model relies on nature being beautiful. So, why does this matter if you aren't planning a trip to Asia right now? Because Asia is teaching the rest of the world how to travel. The innovations happening here are rippling outward. Western wellness retreats are adopting Asian integrated health models. This slow travel philosophy is gaining ground in Europe and North America. The Eco-Lodge architecture pioneered in Southeast Asia is being replicated in places like Costa Rica and Kenya. We are seeing a future where sustainability isn't an add-on. It's the baseline expectation. Operators who don't adapt to this, who stick to the old extraction model, are going to be left behind by consumers who know better. The report concludes that this quiet revolution is not a trend. It's a fundamental restructuring of how humans engage with each other. We are moving away from the postcard mentality, where we extract memories, toward a model of exchange. When you learn a few phrases of the local language, when you buy from a local artisan, when you choose a slow itinerary over a fast one, you are participating in this revolution. You are building cross-cultural understanding instead of just consuming a destination. Travel has the power to be a force for good, but it requires us, the travelers, to be conscious of our impact. So, the next time you book a ticket, ask yourself, are you going there to take a picture, or are you going there to understand? I want to hear from you. Have you tried slow travel? Do you seek out these community-based experiences, or do you find them hard to access? Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the future of travel, hit that like button and subscribe for more investigations into how our world is changing. Thanks for watching, and travel safe.